All right, guys, today we have a new Houston Rockets video. Preseason, our first preseason game starts on Friday. We play the Chicago Bulls, my team. Gonna do a full preview of our team because it looks like this is gonna be the starting or the current roster heading into the official season. Kind of, if we are title contenders, like giving us a realistic preview of the Houston Rockets season. John Wall, James Harden. Let's go. Who should we put at the three? House. Let's put House at the three. Let's go four. Let's go PJ Tucker. Five. Let's go Christian Wood. Right there, that starting lineup, that starting five, keeping in mind that John Wall hasn't played in 2 years and just keeping expectations relatively low. I think that starting lineup, obviously you've got James Harden in there, so it's going to be a winning lineup. I think right there you're maybe looking at a 4, 5, or 6 seed. It could go anywhere in between those. I think that's a safe call, is that starting five with what we know of John Wall. We haven't seen him play in 2 years. We're hoping Christian Wood takes that next step. James Harden's a stud. Daniel House and PJ Tucker can help us out. I think that lineup right there, you can pretty much guarantee a 4, 5, or 6 spot in the playoffs. When you get into our bench, it gets way more interesting as far as like the full scale goes, because we got Demarcus Cousins coming off the bench. We also have Eric Gordon, who will most likely be our sixth man. Eric Gordon, when he is healthy, is an absolute unit. He's a total stud. He can score on a drop of a hat. Like, he is a walking bucket. He can create. He can create for others. Works off ball. Eric Gordon is a great player, especially when he's healthy. That's the biggest question, is can Eric Gordon stay healthy? And, now that he's 31, he's had some injury issues. What's he going to look like this year? It's going to be very interesting. If you guys watch my videos, if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. But I talked about Eric Gordon a lot because I wanted Eric Gordon traded. I still want him traded maybe by the end of the year, but it seems like head coach Silas is a huge fan of Eric Gordon, and seems like the Houston Rockets organization wants to bump up his trade value as much as they can if they're looking to unload him. So you have Eric Gordon, Demarcus Cousins coming off the bench. It's pretty good. That's not even to say some of our role players, who include Ben McLemore, who we got Clemens. My mind always comes to a damn blank when I make these videos. Like, I don't know. I make 3 Rockets videos a day, and I can't name more than one bench player right now. Kenny Wooten as well. I kind of want to spend some time on Kenny Wooten. I did a whole video about him. Kenny Wooten is a signing we got from the New York Knicks, from their G League unit. Kenny Wooten in college, he went to the University of Oregon. He was only there for 2 years, and he is number 3 in all-time blocks at the University of Oregon. So I think he averaged about 3 blocks a game in college. Last year on the Westchester Knicks, he averaged like 3.6 blocks, I want to say, or 3.5, 3.6. Same thing. So this guy is an athletic freak. If you just Google Kenny Wooten highlights, it's just nonstop, like, pick and roll, alley-oops, just him dunking. He could be a very, very important piece. I believe he's 6'8". He could be 6'10". I feel like he's 6'8" right now. Let's just call it in the middle. Kenny Wooten, probably 6'9". I think that he can't. For those of you wondering, those of you who don't know Kenny Wooten, he cannot play the 3. He has absolutely no shot whatsoever. But the rumors are that he has been working on his shot. So that's a little reassuring. I definitely could see Kenny Wooten getting some minutes. Also Mason Jones, Gerald Green. I don't really see... I don't really know the role those guys will be playing to start out the season. What I am most interested in is John Wall's load management. I mean, similar. I'm interested to see Boogie as well. I'm interested to see both John Wall and Demarcus Cousins on the court at the same time. But I think a big question is kind of how they're going to load manage both of them. But for me, I'm more curious about John Wall just because we don't really have that backup point guard that you can just fully confide in. Clemens is good. I love him. But he's no Derrick Rose, which is some of the rumors we've been looking at recently. So it's going to be really interesting. James Harden, I guess I would assume, would have to take majority of point guard responsibilities once John Wall is out. I'm so curious on kind of how the back-to-backs are going to work. I don't think John Wall is playing in back-to-backs to start off the season. It's going to be intriguing to kind of see how that works out. Now, as far as total record with that full bench, you guys have kind of heard me play around with 3 and 4 seeds. I'm going to go ahead and just lock up my prediction as the Houston Rockets being the 3 seed. I think that the Los Angeles Lakers obviously got extremely better. I think the Los Angeles Clippers also got better. So those are my 2 seeds, my 2 top seeds in the West. I think those guys are really going to have a great year. Obviously, the Lakers are going to just ball out like they always do with LeBron. Or LeBron's going to ball out like he always does. Same goes with Anthony Davis. So I think a 3rd seed sounds manageable. Being in the West is pretty fun, man. They have a lot of interesting teams. Some teams we could get paired up with could be like the Mavs, the Suns. I don't want to get too much into playoff matchups because it's not really important. There's still 70 or so games. The season hasn't even officially started yet, so we won't even get into playoff matchups. Let's talk some trades, though. Let's talk about what takes this Houston Rockets team to that next level, because I've been streaming a lot, been making a lot of videos, been talking to my boy Swaggy a lot. I'm a huge fan of Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield would make our defense a little worse. That is the downside. Which is why I'm just a huge fan of a trade revolving Victor Oladipo and Miles Turner. I think that I don't really know about you guys, but if you were to ask me, hey, PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon, and a first-round pick for Victor Oladipo and Miles Turner, I would take that in a heartbeat. Victor Oladipo can create his own shots. He can work off ball. Miles Turner's an athletic big. He can play defense, and he can shoot the 3. And those are just the tip of the iceberg of what both of those guys can do. You're taking a risk on Oladipo considering his injury past, which will bring his trade value down. Miles Turner's trade value somehow isn't even high in Indiana right now. I have no idea how it's so low, but that's the reports right now that I can't forget the trade idea that I'm thinking of, but somebody offered a trade for Miles. I think it was like Gordon Hayward was involved in it, and the Pacers or the Celtics turned it down, and they were getting Miles Turner or something, giving away Gordon Hayward and maybe receiving a pick or something. So I think the most realistic trade, however, is probably going to be Buddy Hield. I think Eric Gordon would be traded around the trade deadline. The same goes with James Harden if this season is not working well. But we'll talk about that if the time comes. Definitely, though, I think this is a good squad. I think we got a good squad. I don't expect an Eric Gordon trade, James Harden trade anytime soon, like I just mentioned, like within the next week or two. I think you're looking at a good team. I've got Christian Wood going about 20-10 this season. That's my prediction on his statistics. Demarcus Cousins, I could see him. I think he'll easily get 15. I'm really curious to see how his minutes start and how they improve, if they improve. One of my biggest questions as well is can Demarcus Cousins be our starting center by the end of the season? And if PJ Tucker's gone, you definitely gotta think so. You better hope so. We'll see how his defense is. We'll see how his rebounding is, how his stamina is and if he's, in as good of shape as he's reportedly in. It's reportedly looking terrific, so can't wait for that. But let me know what you guys think about the Rockets this season. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later.